Hey, everybody. So, my name is Susan Rancourt. I am one of the race directors here at Road Races. And this is the first time we're doing anything like this. So, I just want to apologize in advance. I'm not a real content creator. I am a runner. But we're trying to make the process for you guys very accessible and answer any questions that you might have. And we are pretty excited to be hosting something like this. So, I'm just going to check other things that are kind of around just to see if anybody's asking any questions or has any thoughts, or feel free to pop those in the chat um, so that we can answer, whatever questions or concerns that you have, and we are here for you. Um, so we'll just get started, and I'm looking at this screen because this is where the questions are, but I'm going to talk this way when needed. So we'll just kind of go through like the course of the day or the weekend. And to get started, we're hoping to do like a live stream of the finish line. And we've done a lot of research to figure out how to do that. But first and foremost, I found out that in order to do it on YouTube, we need to have 50 subscribers. So this is like my big, content creator wannabe type of thing is smash that subscribe button so that we can get to 50 subscribers in hopes of being able to bring a live stream to the finish line so that your family and friends can kind of watch finish. Kind of our goal. We're working with the technology in order to get there. So some of it is weather dependent, and it can't be raining in order for us to do it because it requires like a laptop and all that sort of good stuff. But that's our plan. So anyway, so I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are running in the Newport Road Races, which is happening April 15th at starting at 7:30 in the morning. Um, and welcome. We are always incredibly humbled, knowing that you have trained really hard and you've gone through the thick of winter and that you've given up time with family and friends in order to attend our event. Um, it's always an incredibly humbling experience when we pull up to that start line and see everybody lined up there. And we always liken our events to have welcoming guests into our home, is that we will treat you as we hope to treat our guests. And part of how we do that is asking questions of you and trying to give you the best experience possible. So to get started, we'll start on Wednesday. So Wednesday is when pre-registration closes. That is the last day that you can do any transfers or defers. So if you're thinking that you might not be able to make it to the start line, Wednesday at 6 o'clock is your last opportunity to do so. Reason being is that I should say this is next Wednesday, Wednesday the 12th, because Thursday the 13th, Friday the 14th, and obviously Saturday the 15th, we're primarily out of the office. We cannot respond to emails and any sort of um, timeline, and we are locked and loaded for the race at that point. We're prepping for pre-registration. I'm sorry, for bib pickup on Thursday and Friday. So that is the last time we get to really focus on the registration part of the process. So we do dynamic bib assignment, and what that means is you will be assigned a bib when you show up at bib pickup. That makes the whole process that much faster. You don't have to worry about a bib number. We don't have to go searching through a bunch of numbers to find your bib number. Minimizes the mistakes and also speeds up the check-in process, which is great. So Thursday, we are at Roadrunner from 4 to 7. And on Saturday, we are at the Sonesta Hotel, and that is from 1 to 7. And if you cannot pick up, you are able to have somebody pick up for you. All you need to do is write a note saying, I give permission to X, Y, and Z to pick up my bib, sign the note, and then provide a copy of your ID. If you're not going to see this person, take a picture of that handwritten note, take a picture of your ID and text it to them, just so that we have your signature to match your ID. The reason we do that is because we're a Boston Marathon qualifier. Also, it's you who signed the waivers. We want to make sure that the person who's getting the bib is actually the person that signed up for the race. If you want to transfer your bib because you can't be there, it has to go through the proper protocols. It's just the safest way to do everything. So that is bib pickup on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, we do have the option for race morning bib pickup, but we limit it. The reason being is that there was a few years that everybody showed up on race morning. We were not prepared because we did not anticipate more than half the field was going to pick up that morning. It was unprecedented. So now we do take precautions against that because we want to have an on-time start. We want to make sure everybody has a good race morning. You have to reserve that in advance. So, um, plan on picking up Thursday or Friday. That's my best suggestion for you. If you are picking up on Saturday morning, it does not mean that you can get in the half an hour before the race. There are still a number of people that are picking up on Saturday morning. Arrive early. So we do use shuttles to get to the race start and finish. There is no parking at Easton's Beach unless you are a roadmaster, and then we park in the west lot. That's a VIP lot. Everybody else will either park at John Clark Road, which is the industrial park, or at Second Beach. Marathoners and 5K runners are at Second, and the half marathoners are at John Clark Road. Maps for all of this are on our website in our athlete guide, which is now available at roadraces.com. Just click on Newport and you'll see the athlete guide is there. There's also an interactive Google map where you can kind of select the parking location, get directions right to that parking location. But there will be signs, there will be volunteers. Um, it won't be hard to miss. Again, everyone likes to wait until the last minute. We only have X number of shuttles. Arrive early. Do not assume that you can get on those last shuttles. This year we have amended the start a little bit. That's in order to give more time between the start and finish of or the start of one race and the start of a next. So the marathon starts at 7:30, the half marathon starts at 8, and the 5K starts at 8:30. The beach mile does go off at noon. I've had a few questions about the beach mile. If you are running the beach mile, you do not need to reserve race day bib pickup. You just come to the registration tent at 11 o'clock and um, between 11 and 11:45, you can pick up your bib from there, and we will show you where the start line is on the beach, obviously, at Easton's. It is a little bit of a walk from where our registration tent is until the beach start. And then you're just going to run half a mile down the beach, half a mile back, and you finish under our finish line arch with some marathoners. So that's pretty fun. Um, so otherwise, plan on arriving early, plan on getting an early shuttle. I would allow, if it were me, I would allow at least 1 hour to 90 minutes ahead of time. Um, we have some shelter under the beach, under the bathhouses if you do get there a little early. Um, but save yourself some stress and get those early shuttles where there's a bit more room. We will have gear check. We will have a volunteer gear check, and we also have a more secure gear check in with Mobile Locker. So you can either reserve Mobile Locker in advance or you can reserve it that day. But they will be there with a key that you can lock up, like your cell phone and your wallet, if that's what you want to bring. I will say that we are giving away one free complimentary beer and one free complimentary hot coffee or nitro. If you want any more than that, you will need to purchase it. And so you might want some money for that. We'll also have some, our Road Races gear is going to be there. The local running store, Run Newport, will be there selling some gear. And I'm trying to think if anything else will be there selling gear. I'm not sure, but at least there's Run Newport always has great stuff. We'll have some fun road races stuff. There will be some gear also available on Friday. On Thursday at Roadrunner, we don't have a lot of room, but if you want like a sweatshirt or gel, or if you forgot something, you might want to have your wallet for that. All right, so start and finish. All the start and finish for the 5K, the half, and the full are all on Memorial Boulevard, which is just outside the Easton's Beach parking lot. The biggest thing I can stress is when you access the start line, do not cross over those grassy dunes, for lack of a better word. They are a delicate ecosystem. You have to use the roads to get there. Please ask your family and friends not to stand on them and to take pictures. It is part of our permit. We are going to be very strict about this. If we see anybody walking or standing on those dunes, you will get yelled at, unfortunately, only because we will get yelled at if because they are a delicate ecosystem. Please use the roads in all cases to get to the start and finish line. All the start and finishes are the same. They're all on Memorial Boulevard. What we did is we actually did like a little video that kind of walks you through the course mile by mile. So you can access that on our YouTube video if you want to. There's also a blog on our roadraces.com under media that's there. I do see a question came in from Emily. It says, where do we get picked up if our ride is not able to get to the finish line? So after the race, so that's a good point. So if you plan on getting dropped off for the start, please do not plan on getting dropped off at Memorial Boulevard, because what happens is we close one side of Memorial Boulevard, so two-way traffic is then on the other side. So if you get dropped off, you're just going to cause traffic to back up. And one or two people isn't a big deal, but we have seen where a number of people have gone this route, and then traffic backs up, and then everybody starts to get late for the start. So what we suggest is, if you plan on getting dropped off, plan on getting, if you're on the Middletown side, get dropped off at like Tickets or Diego's or the Cumberland Farm and just kind of walk over from there. If you're on the Newport side, we recommend that you get dropped off like around 7-Eleven, Tennis Hall of Fame, somewhere in that area where you can just walk the remaining distance and your ride can kind of turn around and head back to wherever they're going. Spectators can park in our shuttle lots and use the shuttles. This is what we recommend. Um, we just ask that in the morning they let the runners on first, just because they have to get to the start on time. The spectators don't necessarily have to, but the spectators are welcome to park in those lots um, and to use the shuttles. If you're getting picked up because they couldn't make it to the finish line, once the race goes off, so after 8:30 is the last race, and it takes us a couple minutes to kind of pick everything up, to get our cones off the road and to reopen them. But once the road is reopened, you can get picked up on Memorial Boulevard. Then it becomes two ways, like east and west. So there will be more opportunity for you to get picked up after, let's say, 8:45, 9 a.m. So that part isn't an issue. You'll just walk out to Memorial Boulevard. It's got a nice big sidewalk. It's a very popular tourist attraction, and you can get picked up there. So I hope that answers your question, Emily. But if not, throw another question in the chat and I'll be sure to answer it. But Newport is incredibly spectator friendly, very tourist friendly. So always lots of big sidewalks, lots of places to see and to view. So to start, we're going to go up Memorial Boulevard. We're going to take a left onto Annandale if you're in the full and the half. And if you're in the 5K, you're actually going to take a left a little bit earlier, which is Cliff. Eventually, the 5K will rejoin Annandale, and they do a loop through the neighborhood. They come back down Annandale, and they'll have the same finish as everybody else. But they do take a left earlier. We will have a volunteer there. There will be a sign there. So don't worry about that part of it. But for the most part, everybody else does kind of take that left onto Annandale. Back to parking, and I'll just jump in like this. So as we go along, feel free to ask questions. So how far is the walk from the half marathon parking to the start? It's about a mile, and it's a downhill mile. And so we have recommended some people that didn't want to deal with the shuttles, and you're in the half marathon, use it as a warm up, use it as a jog or a walk or something. But it's a pretty easy 1 mile from the parking lot to the finish line or into the start line. And we've seen a lot of people go back that way, so they weren't dealing with the shuttles. And if you've ever run a half marathon, you know that walking afterwards is really good for your muscles. So you're not like cramped and sore the next day. So it seems like a very terrible thing to do, to make you walk an additional mile after you've run. But it's pretty beneficial for you to do so. That's like a cross country coach in me that's talking. So that is an option for you. The full marathon parking is a bit farther. It is not walkable. I mean, it is, but it's probably 3 miles. So that one probably is not walkable, but the half marathon certainly is doable. So anyway, so we're going to go Annandale, then we're going to go Narragansett, which is a nice downhill. It does get a little tight down in Annandale. You go around Wellington, and everybody asks, is the course hilly or not? I would say on the first half, it's rolling for sure. But the thing about the first half marathon course, is that it really is so beautiful. You have so much to look at that the hills keep the whole thing interesting. Nothing terrible. There's no huge inclines, no huge declines, just enough to really keep your legs loose, so you're not constantly pounding like flat, 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 but nothing that's too extreme. So really right after mile 2 is where you start seeing wide expanses of water. So right after mile 2, you're going to come around Wellington. We do have aid stations at every other mile, and every aid station is going to have a porta potty for you. So and we've got a lot of porta potties at the start. But if it starts to get crowded and the race starts to get closer to time to go and you're still in line, what we would recommend is just start. And there's plenty of porta potties that are going to be at the first aid station. You can always jump in there. Yes, it will delay your time, but if you start late, that's going to delay your time too, because we're going to start on time. Um, so that's our recommendation there. So from Wellington, you're going to go kind of along Haladon. If you use RaceJoy, which is our GPS athlete tracker, which is totally free for you, your family, and friends, you're going to hear not only your progress alerts, your mile marker alerts, what your pace is, but you're also going to hear some points of interest as you go along. So, like we have said, as you go past Hammersmith Farm, look right. This is Jackie. Jackie Kennedy's Hammersmith Farm is on your right. We'll point out other things as you kind of go along, just as like a running tour as you run through Newport. Not enough to keep it irritating, we hope, but enough to kind of help you while away the miles a little bit. So mile 2, mile 3 are kind of along the harbor a little bit. You go inland for a little bit. Mile 4 is going to be Fort Adams. So Fort Adams is where Sail Newport is. You do run around this parking lot, which is kind of a weird thing, but in order for us to get the exact distance, sometimes we have to run around weird things. And this parking lot is one of those weird distances. There is an aid station that's also going to be at that in Fort Adams. Then you're going to come out and you're going to run. Once you get past mile 5, that's kind of where Hammersmith Farm is. And then when you hit mile 6, now you're on Ocean Drive. And this is the spot where we see the most people taking their selfies, really just enjoying the view. A lot of our marketing pictures you'll see are from Ocean Drive. So really from mile 6 through mile 8, 9 is all along the water. It's all along Narragansett Bay, just incredible views. I will, as a word of caution, because it is exposed to the weather, it does tend to get windy. So at one point it's going to be a headwind, and another point it's going to be a tailwind. Um, if you are prepared for that, then it helps you in your run. So just be aware that it is wide open to water, and very exposed. So it's again incredibly beautiful, but there could be like a wind factor to your running if you're pacing properly. Um, so then mile 9, we're past Gooseberry Beach, and then as we turn onto Bellevue, we're going to run past mile 10, and Bellevue is obviously Gilded Age homes. So you'll run past Breakers and Rosecliff and all the famous mansions that you've read about. Then you're going to take a right onto Ruggles. You go past mile 11, and then you take a left onto Ochre Court, and now you're running through the Salve campus. Salve Regina is, I think, it was rated like most scenic campus ever. I'm not really sure, but it has incredible mansions that are there as part of their dorms and their facilities. So mile 11 is through Salve. Mile 12, you're back on Annandale, and then mile 13 is back down to the beach. What I will caution you about Annandale is because we are not allowed to close any of the roads that we run on. Annandale does get a little tight. Just make sure you stay inside the cone lanes. You know, on the way back, you're running with traffic, so kind of stay over as much as you can. It's just part of our permit. We wish we could close these roads, but we are not able to. So just something to be aware of. As you get past mile 12, you take the right back onto Memorial Boulevard, and you have this beautiful downtown finish. No matter how many times I drive this road, it's always breathtaking, absolutely awe-inspiring. So nice downhill finish. You're going to come into a parking lot. Again, there'll be volunteers. You get off Memorial Boulevard, you run into the parking lot, past the bass houses, and then to the finish line. So if you're running the 5K and the half, you're going to look at the finish line and you're going to stay to the left. If you're running the full marathon, you're going to stay to the right. Again, there'll be signs and there'll be volunteers, but these are just some things to be aware of. So into the parking lot, past the bath houses, and then look for the signs. Full and half are going to finish. And I'm sorry, that half and 5K, and the full is going to go past the finish line, do a loop around the parking lot, head back out, and they go out to Middletown. So they're going to follow the road up to Middletown. They're going to go to Tuckerman's. Miles 14 and 15 are kind of in residential area. 15, actually, we'll get to 15. 14 is in a residential area. 15, you have a downhill, and it's a relatively steep downhill, and then you're gonna take a hard right onto what's called Surfer's End. So just be aware that this mile 15, in my opinion, is going to become the the most challenging part of the race because that is going to be your steep uphill at about 24 and a half. So be prepared when you go downhill at 15 that you have to run back up that hill at 24 and a half. So you go past Surfers and Beach, you're going to run out and back towards Statuesque to the Norman Bird Sanctuary. You do a loop out there. There is going to be a timing mat out there. You come back past the campground, past the full marathon parking lot. Um, and then you are going to go past an aid station, and then you're going to go out to Portsmouth, and it is an out and back. So again, it's lots of there are some rollers out there, things to be aware of in that case. And um, it's the homes that are out there, you're running along the water, just, take a minute every once in a while and kind of look, if you're running out, take a look to your right. When you're running back, take a look to your left. Not sure why my lights went off. That was odd. Um, but just kind of really enjoy the scenery while you're running. Take a breath, shake it out, and enjoy the process. There's not a lot of people that can do 26 miles, so it's an incredible accomplishment no matter what. So you come back, 22, 23 are all along Indian Rock Road, go past the aid station again, and then you are going to pass mile 24, and then essentially you're just running back the way you came. So 24 is up that hill by Surfer's End, 25 is back in the residential neighborhood, 26 is actually right at the Newport and Middletown town line. That's where our beautiful Daffodil Park is. 26, you enter back into the parking lot, and then you are finished. So pretty fun. Course then has been rated most scenic course in the Northeast, so you can't beat the views that you're going to get. Whether you're trying to get a BQ or a PR, I think sometimes it's just important to like look around and appreciate where we are and what we're running. Um, all the aid stations again will have water, noon on course, and Cliff Bar gels, and there will be porta potties at every single one. We will have roving EMTs that are going to be on course to help you. We'll have SAG wagons that are going to be out there if you need any help, and course marshals will be out in various locations to help guide you. But take a look at that blog, take a look at that video that we did that kind of covers the course map. That will tell you a little bit more about each kind of mile on the map. And other things that we can mention is that we're working with Epic Renewal this year in order to have a zero waste event. And what that means is they're going to collect all of our trash and our waste for us, and they're going to sort it and sort it properly. So they're going to compost for us. They're going to make sure that we are putting recyclables and the mostly what they'll do is they'll make sure that the waste doesn't get contaminated so that it can be recycled. So we're pretty excited about that. Additionally, we work with Eastern Rhode Island Conservation District, and they're going to do plogging after the race. So having said all this, we do need a lot of help. Our goal is to be a good steward of our environment. This area is all along the water. We can't, we will put, like, we call them gel buckets. We put them in every mile marker. As you have trash, please put the trash in those mile markers, because even with the ploggers, it does get windy. We are along the coast. Things blow, so we want to make sure that we capture it before that it gets anywhere that we don't want it to be. But we need all your help in kind of obtaining this zero waste initiative. So look for the signs that will be up. Use trash receptacles that are available to you. If you have a gel and you're not near a bucket, just hang on to it until you do come to a bucket. The gel packets are really the bane of our environmental existence. They are the worst. So hang on to those until we can dispose of them properly. But we're pretty excited about the sustainability initiative. There's other things that we've done, like we've eliminated zip ties. We're using like a more environmentally friendly ball bungee. We're trying to use more power packs and generators. The race is in April. It's in Earth Month, so we try to be as sustainable as possible, and that's our goal. So what else? After your race, Sam Adams is in our beer garden. You'll get one free complimentary beer. If you're over 21, there will be a tear off on your bib that gets you that. More can be, I'll say, purchased for a donation, and the donation goes to our local track and field team. They will be in the beer garden tent, helping there. Thanks to the Nitro Bar, they'll provide a free hot coffee or free nitro to all our participants. Again, there'll be a tear off for that. We'll have free post race massages thanks to Pappas OPT. So that's always fun. We have a recovery tent also, and in that recovery tent will be trigger point tools and yoga mats that you can stretch out. Um, what else will be there? Rhode Island National Guard will be there, and they'll be doing some fun, um, exhibits. We'll have yard designs, and if you've seen the pictures, we have it says "Welcome Road Racers," and that's a good selfie spot. All medals will be awarded to full and half marathoners. We have a new non-binary option, so there will be an award for a non-binary winner, and a new award for somebody that's 80 plus. So we're pretty excited about those new changes this year too. Our athlete guide has a ton of information. You need your ID to check in. Please be sure to have that. And we try to do these little videos, but we are trying to be as accessible as possible. So if anybody has any questions, I am happy to answer them for you if I haven't already addressed anything. And again, if you do feel the need to transfer or to defer out of the event, the instructions to do so are on our FAQs on roadraces.com. And we did a video a little while back that shows the process for how to do that. But the cutoff for that is Wednesday at 6 p.m., next Wednesday before the race. So I'm not seeing a lot of questions. So I don't know if I just managed to cover everything or if anybody does have any questions. And if we did not cover anything and you have questions about them after the race, shoot us an email at info@roadraces.us. We try to respond within half an hour. As the race gets closer, it might be within 24 hours, but we try to be as responsive as possible. So this race, Newport, is the first in our Roadmaster series. So we call it the Rhode Island Running Tour. We start in Newport, then we go to Providence, then we go to Bristol, Jamestown, and we finish our season in Narragansett. Narragansett is our sister event to this event. It's on the other side of the bay. Both have great views of the Narragansett or the Newport Bridge. Narragansett also features a full, a half, and a 5K. So if you're in the full or the 5K and you want to transfer to that event because you're not quite ready, totally doable. Again, just visit your runsignup.com profile and you can make the transfer from there. While you're in the area, be sure to visit all the incredible daffodil fields that are around. Go visit all the daffodil days, activities that are happening. It is a beautiful time to be in Newport. Everything is just exploding with yellow flowers. I went for a run today and everything is just absolutely gorgeous. So we're pretty excited about that. So if I don't see any questions, hope that this was helpful for everybody. We so look forward to seeing everybody on the 15th in the start line. A couple other things. Yes, headphones are allowed. We just ask that you are cognizant of your surroundings. So use transparency mode. And if you, no over the head earphones, you want to be safe, you want to be aware of your surroundings. USETF now does allow for those. As far as hydration vest or carrying your own water, we encourage it as part of our sustainable initiatives. That just means less cups that are on the course, which we are always appreciative. So yes, hydration vests are allowed as well. Dogs and strollers are not. The size of this event, we're expecting about 3,000 people. And as I mentioned, the course is open to traffic. So we cannot have any dogs running. We cannot have any strollers in the event. We apologize for that. And I think that might be it. So again, thank you for joining us. We are so excited. Running, or I should say, race directing a marathon is a lot like running and training for a marathon. Weeks of preparation. Always, you never know what's going to happen on race day. We throw a lot of balls in the air. And we hope they all come down at the same time. So we are very appreciative for everybody that joins us, and we look forward to helping you obtain your race goals. So thanks again, and we will see you next weekend.